What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're still working on this EF Civic here. We're going to continue working on that in this video. Get a little bit more work done, and yes, if you're asking, I did get a haircut finally. I know I was getting like a mop headed for a little bit there, but if you guys didn't watch the last video, we got this custom bumper bar made up. We got the intercooler mounted, and we got, I don't know, I think that was more or less it because it took a lot of time. It took basically the majority of that day. So, we got the hot side hooked up on the intercooler. So today, my first and main objective is to get this cold side hooked up. So, we don't have a whole lot of room because if you guys didn't watch the last video, this is a B18C like Civic or Integra Type R motor, I believe, with a turbo. And in an EF chassis, you know, that kind of makes for like little to no room. So obviously, like I just stated, the intercooler is already mounted. That side is done. I didn't put the clamps on because I'm afraid I'm gonna have to take everything off. I don't want to take them on and off 1,000 times. When everything is all done, the car's ready to go home to its owner, then I'll put all the clamps on. But so cold side. So I got two made. I have a coupler to go here. For whatever reason, I'm just gonna go with the route that the owner of the car had already started with. I believe he had it that way for a reason. So I'm not gonna change it and go around there like normal. I'm gonna just go through the hole that he made here because it's already there. So basically what I got to do is bring this up, obviously, so that'll kind of sit there somewhere around here, and then I just got to make that go to the throttle body. So should be pretty easy. A little bit of time consuming and whatnot, but yeah, so get that sorted out. And then I did have him order another V-band because one of the things that we got to do is get this dump tube to go down there to the downpipe, and that's not going to be fun. So it's going to be a little tight, and it'd just be so much easier if we just went, you know, like shoop to whoop and spun it that way and just kicked it out somewhere else. But whatever, we're getting paid to do it, so let's do it. And while I got your guys' attention early in the video, go ahead and drop a like on this video. I'd really appreciate it. And also check out the Big Cartel where we got merch. I got some harness bars for the DA. I got some bumper bars left over. I think I got one front bumper bar left and some rears. Yeah, go check it out. Let's dig right into this. So I ended up switching up to a 90. I got my piece marked somewhere right there. But the issue that I've run into though is I haven't been using my bandsaw lately because the blade's been messed up and they dull out so fast. But it turns out I've been doing some research, and I'm pretty sure my bandsaw, because this is the Harbor Freight Central Machinery one, turns out I think it's just out of adjustment. So I had to go get a new blade and some cut-off wheels anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead before I make my cut on this, because I don't want it to be a crooked cut. I want it to be as true as possible. I'm gonna throw a new blade on and try and get this thing squared up a little bit now that I did a little bit of research. Well, after much trial and error, I think I got it probably as close as I'm gonna be able to get it. There's no real easy way to do this, and I tried to watch a bunch of videos on YouTube and they're all pretty much useless. Nobody actually really explains. They're just like, oh, level it with the table. But I feel like mine's a little crooked, like my blade plane area, so I don't know. This is about as square as I've been able to get it the last like hour of tinkering with it. So I'm gonna call that good for now. If it really is that off later, if I'm doing pie cuts or something, I'll just clean it up on the belt sander or something. I don't know that I want to keep messing with this saw. Eventually I'll upgrade to a better one that's cool and operated anyway, so I'm not hugely concerned. I just wanted it better because it was cutting really crooked. But now we can actually focus on the work at hand. So I'm running into a little bit of an issue here. I cut up this 90 because I thought this was just gonna go straight over there, which it would. Like, I can angle it down a little bit, there's some slack in the coupler. But the issue is that the hood hits right here and wants to push it down. So I'm gonna have to make this more low pro, but I can't really use this 90 and just cut more off the joint there because then it sits it too low. So I need some pie cuts because I kind of just gotta get an angle and then shoot it over that way and then use some more pie cuts to get it into the intake. So a little tedious, but nothing we can't work with. So I'm gonna go cut some of these up, get them prepped, and keep working. Little status update. So I got the pie cuts cut for this section. I got a few extras and I'm gonna cut some more.
So now I'm just, this piece leans forward a little bit because the coupler has slack. So I'm trying to just get it to attach from there now to just there. And part of me almost wants to like put a coupler in the middle because I don't know if it's going to be able to be easily detached as one whole thing. I'm sure I can probably take the coupler off from here and then wiggle it out from here. I'm going to obviously have to loosely tack it all together once I figure out this last path, and then kind of work around it and see, or play with it, I mean, and see if it'll come apart. If not, then I'll just break the tacks apart somewhere, add a coupler, so that way it can be removed easily. So I think I finally got this section figured out. So let's see, line it up like that, and then it basically just kind of goes together just like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and tack these 3 pieces together now and make it one whole piece, come in and test fit and see what we're looking like.
All right, let's see if we can get this all here in one shot. Ooh, that's still really hot. Had to go re-weld it because the stupid thing broke right in the center because the tacks were cracked. So hopefully it doesn't break. So attempted to. Okay, I think we're good. The only thing I gotta do is right here on the end. On this last piece right here, it's not far enough in for my comfort, so I'm gonna go ahead and just chop it somewhere in the middle, and I'm gonna just throw a small like extension in there, take up some of that space, and then the cold side is done. I mean, obviously I still gotta weld it, that's a whole different thing, so I'm gonna save that for a little bit later, but at least fabricating it will be done. Got the cold side finished up, so I did have to extend it just that last little bit. Now I gotta widen this hole, just like oval it up and down a little bit, and a little bit off to the side here because it can barely fit, and you can see it's getting all scratched up. So I'm not worried because the coupler is on the outside of the hole and the tube is on the inside. So I'm not worried about it like breaking through or anything over time, but I do need to widen it a little bit to get enough slack to comfortably get it into the boot here. So I'm gonna just use like my carbide burr bit or something, and then go to town on it and just kind of see how far I can get it. Alrighty, not too shabby. Had to trim up that hole a little bit more, had to shorten this end of the coupler right here a little bit more. But we got a little bit more wiggle room in here now, so it's not rubbing on there entirely, really at all now. We got just enough clearance here between the frame rail and the clutch thingy, the weird cable hydro thingy. And yeah, then we got the rest of our pipe up here. And it goes about midpoint inside the coupler, so I'd say we're solid. I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing off, start welding it. Got a lot of welding to do, so I just wanna get it knocked out. Slow but sure progress. This took a lot longer than I anticipated it to. It took me about, I'd say 3 hours to get to this point, and then I probably got about an hour of welding. So yeah, let me know what you guys do. If any of you guys are any, like, I don't even have to be a fabricator. I always feel like I work pretty slow. Some people think I work fast, or some people say I work fast. I always feel like I'm doing it a lot slower. So what do you guys average for something like this? If you guys fab stuff, or even if you guys are installing stuff, do you guys think you're fast workers or slow workers? Because I'm kind of on the fence. I mean, this heat ain't helping my situation none, because I just feel more lethargic. I don't feel like being out here and just like energetic. But I don't know, blabbering. Let's go.
I think that came out pretty good. I'm hyped on it. Probably burnt my hand through the glove about 40 times. But I'm gonna pick this up tomorrow. It's like 6 o'clock. I'm tired. I'm hot. So we'll catch you guys in the morning. We'll make the pipe off the turbo next.
Tomorrow for sure.
So, progress update. Next day now, I think, day later, day 2, whatever. So, got this all bolted up. It is all clamped together. It looks well, fits well. I'm really hyped on it. It looks cool. I think the pie cut look everywhere looks cool to me. So right now I do have to wait because right here with the fan in, there's absolutely no room for the 3-inch pipe he wanted because the hose clearance between the fan and stuff. So he's gonna have to try and see if he has a 3-inch off the turbo to 2.5 adapter, and then if so, I can run a 2.5-inch piece of pipe over here with the filter on it. If not, he's gonna run a TurboGuard filter on the turbo, but he really wants that pipe over there. So in the meantime, I am waiting another couple days before I get any more parts in the mail, like the V-band he ordered for the dump tube, and obviously that coupler. So the only thing left I can do at the moment is trim up this bumper really quick to fit the intercooler. So that is just what I'm going to do. I just wanted to get some work done on the car today and get a little bit more video content in. So I have no idea what this thing is called, but this is what I always use to cut all my plastics and bumpers and stuff. Works really well. There we go. Fits up pretty well. I was able to actually keep the centerpiece. I just had to thin it out on the backside, which I'm really stoked on because it gives it more of that stealth look, especially with the black intercooler. So I will trim up here that I marked. I'm going to trim that area out just because the top portion of the intercooler is blocked by that little bit. So I'm going to trim out that marked sections. That way the intercooler gets more airflow. But other than that, it looks pretty good to me. So I'm not too sure what's up with this bumper gap up top here because it wasn't like this before. So I feel like it's just sagging on something or hitting something in here that it wasn't, you know, the other day when I was playing with it. But worst comes to worst, he can just tuck some foam or something up above the bumper thing. But I don't get why it's all warped and wavy like that. I don't even know if this is an OEM bumper, but one thing at a time. Bumper's trimmed. We're good to go. Okay, disregard that last statement. I trimmed it just a little bit more. I trimmed out the rest of the bottom center flap, and then I trimmed out that top flap. And now it sits back how it did. This was there originally, but it was much more sucked up here. But this part of the bumper really warped. I'm not sure why, what's wrong with it. But yeah, there we go. Looks a lot better. Much, much better. Okay, so we are another couple days ahead now, probably a day or two. I am starting on the dump tube. So I got some pie cuts, some little guys. Probably not enough, I can make more, but I'm just trying to figure out. I was reading through the comments on the last video and somebody mentioned, why don't I try going this way? It looks like there's more room. Trust me, I would love to just flip the wastegate around and send it this way, but obviously once the fan gets attached, then kind of SOL, because there's no room because he wants the tube to run off here, which we're gonna have to try and figure something out. He's supposed to be dropping off the little V-band that I need later anyway, so when he gets here, I'm not gonna make anything for sure yet, I'm just trying to map it out, but when he gets here, I'm gonna mention to him like, hey, because we already discussed an issue with the size pipe here because of the hose and the fan here, so we might just have to end up running a TurboGuard on the filter, in which that case, we can probably go ahead and just kick this down this way, and that would make it easy, but he did want this tied into the exhaust for his own reasons, and that's what he asked for, so that's what I'm gonna try and plan for, but I will mention to him the other way. But as of right now, I'm gonna try and fill with some pie cuts a little bit, see if I can't route it to get down to the downpipe, and then we can start working from there. So I've been fiddling with this for about 45 minutes now, and this is what I've come up with so far. So got 3 pie cuts to the billow. I tried putting this lower just so it wasn't, you know, kind of ugly sticking out the top or like coming off the top, but there's no room for this underneath. This is such a tight fit, you guys are right. But yeah, then we got this 90 coming off, and the way it sits, because these pie cuts are not like just straight in a row, they're kind of rotated and clocked a little bit. And then yeah, it brings the 90 a little bit more than a 90, and then 2 more pie cuts, and then this kicks it right at the downpipe. So now the guy just texted me, said his parts showed up, which is like a V-bend. And then I can, basically, I think I just need to add the V-band, and then literally like maybe 2.5 to 3 inches of pipe to connect it to this. So this is all just tacked up right now, but this is hard. This really is. There's no room. So you can kind of see, obviously, I mean, you kind of can't see too well where it goes. Kinda, I don't know if it'll focus enough down there, but you guys, oh yeah, you can barely see it. right there, and then that's the downpipe right there. So you can see it's really close. I'd say probably 2.5 inches away, like I said, but otherwise it looks good. I mean, he's definitely gonna have to get it Cerakoted or something to help keep the heat off the AC lines, or wrap the AC lines in some sort of foam or the gold tape. But yeah, we're making it work, dudes and dudettes. So the owner just came by, dropped off a couple 1.5 V-bands. Now let me tell you, when this is tight and hard, I mean this is tight and hard. Keep your mind out of the gutter. So basically, I was able to just write off of what I had just finished and showed you. I don't know if it'll zoom far enough, but kind of down there. Let me focus. Focus. Yeah, so you guys can see I just barely had room to stick the MIG gun in here and get 2 tack welds, 2 baby tack welds. So now I'm gonna try and just as gently as I can remove this section, and hopefully it doesn't break apart. And then I'm gonna lay some more tacks, and then I can go ahead, trace my circle, and then drill out for the downpipe. And again, like, this is the best we're gonna get, and he did say he's really not going for power. He just wants choo-choo noises. Alright. We got it. Okay. That's good news, and it's actually not a terrible fitment. There's actually no gap in there, so I can at least weld it like I normally would as well. So let's, well, I suppose before anything, let's trace our circle. Actually, because a good part of me feels like I'm gonna mess this up if I take this off. I'm gonna just disregard the circle, and then I'm just gonna drill and hog it out. I'm just gonna take my time with the carbide burr bit. I'm gonna weld it on there and drill the centerpiece out on its own. I don't want any issues in alignment, because I already know I might even have some as is with shrinkage from welding. So thankfully that's what the flex pipe is gonna help prevent or add, is a little bit of room. And hopefully it's put minimal stress on the bellow. That way there's no cracking involved. But ooh, we're so close to being done. Looks good to me, except I didn't weld the V-bands on completely because I need a heat sink so these things don't warp, because I want to make sure, because I don't want to have to go in there and fix it. Fits like a champ, so it did shrink a little bit, but the V-bands will suck it together the rest of the way. And again, I didn't weld the entirety, because I am going to take the other side of this flange and bolt it to this like it is now, and then finish welding it so it doesn't warp the flange, and same with down there. So I'm gonna wait till those pieces are both ready to come off. It's either that or I'm gonna have to just weld it slowly and then use like some air, like cold air or something, to cool the weld, and then proceed, and then cool it and proceed. Haven't figured it out yet, but I'll get there. I'm just gonna wrap it up for the day though, because it is hot and I am just exhausted. But on that note, I will be ending the video here, because now that this is done, minus the last, what, 3 inches of weld around these 2 V-bands, yeah, and obviously the little piece on the downpipe, but you guys get the gist. I'm gonna just drill a hole and then weld the flange to it, and then it all just bolts together. But I'm gonna end this video off here, guys. That way we can wrap up the car, hopefully in the next video, where I just build the exhaust, and then I finalize the welds on the bar, the front bumper bar here, and hook up the catch can, then this thing can go home. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you are new to the channel, hopefully you've considered subscribing, and I want to thank you for taking some time out of your day to even hang out with me here on this channel. If you want to help support this channel, I do have stickers now. I do have the new stickers, the Coffee Guy stickers. I got the Coffee Guy shirts. I got some more merch and stuff in the Big Cartel. Still got a couple harness bars left for the DAs, and I got some rear bars left as well. So you guys, if you want them, go check them out on the Big Cartel. Link in the description. Anyways, guys, do what you love. For the rest, thanks for 20K again, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.